Hello everyone. In this class, we will look about the remaining content of the chapter 4. In the first part or in the previous video, we have discussed about the values and the tokens, is it? Yeah, remaining data type and variables, constant, everything we will discuss in this video. So first one is data type. What is a data type, or what do you mean by data type? It indicates type of the data. All of you know different types of data are there. If you want to enter your marks will be in maybe a whole number or a fraction, 85.5 or 90, like this marks means a different data type we are using, is it? One is an fractional values or decimal value, another one is a integer value. Then if you want to print your name means, yes, it is a collection of characters, so it belongs to another data type. Like this, different type of data there. So data type represent type of the data. And this data type is classified into two types. Java data types are of two types. First one is the primitive data type. Second one is the non-primitive data type. So first one is known as primitive data type and the second one is known as non-primitive data type. So primitive data type comes as a part of the programming language. That's why, or it is a fundamental of the programming language. That's why primitive data type is otherwise known as intrinsic data type or built-in data type. So primitive data type has other names. One is intrinsic data type, another one is built-in data type. Actually, this primitive data type is mainly classified into four types that we will look. Okay, so first one, data type. Data type means it is type of data divided to mainly classified into two categories. One is primitive data type, another one is non-primitive data type. Primitive in the sense is it is the fundamental one, or it is the built-in data type. Otherwise, it is known as intrinsic data type, mainly classified into four groups. Second one is the non-primitive data type. Non-primitive data types are constructed from the primitive data type, or we can tell it is derived from the primitive data types. That's why it is otherwise known as, or non-primitive is otherwise known as reference data type or derived data type or composite data type. So these three names are referred to non-primitive data type. What are they? Is it a non-primitive data type is otherwise known as reference data type or derived data type or composite data type. Why? Because the reason non-primitive data types are derived from the primitive data types. Okay, this is the introduction of data types. Just look here. First one, yeah, data types. It is indicating type of data, mainly two categories. One is primitive data, another second one is known as non-primitive data type. Then primitive data type means the fundamental data types that are in an integral part of the Java programming language called intrinsic data type or built-in data type. And this primitive data types are grouped into four categories, is it? Yeah, it is grouped into four categories. First one is the integer data type. Integer means it consists of four subgroups is there. Integer has four category. One is byte, short, int, long. So integer data type is classified into four types, which are they? Byte, short, int, long. The second one is floating point data type. Floating point means decimal values. We have to represent the values with the decimal values. Then we will use the data type floating point data type, representing the float value. Floating point data type is again classified into two types. What are they? Float and double. Then third one is the character data type. It's only the char will be there. Character data type means what is the character data type? Yes, char is indicated by the character data type. The fourth one is the Boolean data type. It is represented by the keyword Boolean. When we have learned about the tokens, all of you remember these are the keywords. What is the use of keyword? Keywords are reserved words, giving special meaning to the compiler. We can't use that keywords as an identifier or any other, is it? We can use keyword as for the particular purpose. If we want to declare an integer value, then we will declare an integer value like int a semicolon. So here int is a keyword. Like these all are keywords. Which are they? Byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, boolean. These all are keywords. So these all represent different data types. So what are the different data types here? Mainly classified into two. First one is the primitive. Primitive data types are fundamental data types. It is otherwise known as intrinsic or built-in data types. Primitive data types are grouped into four categories. First one is the integer data type. Integer is again classified into four. What are they? Byte, short, int, long. Floating point data type is again classified into two. Float and double. Character data type means it is represented by the keyword char, C-H-A-R. Boolean data type is represented by the keyword Boolean. B should be small letter. Okay, these keywords all are representing with the small letters. So totally how many primitive data types in Java? Totally 8 primitive data types are supporting in Java. So when any questions there, how many primitive data types there? There are 8 primitive data types. What are the 8 primitive data types? Byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, boolean. So these are the 8 primitive data types in Java. Clear? Okay, next we will move to the non-primitive data type. So non-primitive data type means it is derived from or constructed from the primitive data types. So it is called as non-primitive data types. It's otherwise known as reference data types or derived types or composite data types. Non-primitive data types are otherwise known as reference data types, derived data types or composite data types. So what are the three non-primitive data types in Java? Mainly 3 non-primitive types we are discussing. What are they? First one is the classes, second one is arrays, third one is the interfaces. Learn these all thoroughly. Non-primitive data types. Write the examples for non-primitive data types means you have to write these 3. Classes, arrays, interfaces. We can tell objects also are non-primitive data types. Okay. So classes means you know how to write a program in Java and how we will write class name is a let's see. So non-primitive data type, because in a class consists of different primitive data types. So if you want to consider a student class student, if you are writing a student has roll number, okay, just consider like this in a roll number. So we can consider integer, we are writing integer roll, is it? Yes. Then string name. So it consists of different data types of primitive. String name. So these two, just I'm writing two, only two. So this is a class. Class is a data type. This class consists of two primitive data types, which are the integer and string. So how we can tell class is a non-primitive data type? Because they are derived from the primitive types. Okay. So these are the different types of data or different data types, primitive and non-primitive data type. Okay, this is the pictorial representation of data types. Yeah, data types are classified into primitive, non-primitive. Primitive means again it is classified into 4 types: integer, floating point, character and boolean. Integer is again classified into 4: byte, short, int, long, floating point, float, double, character, char, boolean. The non-primitive means it's mainly classified as classes, arrays and interfaces. And the storage sizes and the range of the data types are vary, and depending upon our requirements, we can select appropriate data type. As an example, if you want to enter a roll number, then we need to specify it is an integer value. If we want to give a string or a name, then we have to specify it is a string data type. Is it same? If we want to store a phone number of 10-digit number, okay, if you want to store a phone number of 10-digit number, then it's in data type is different. Or if you want to save a constant value 3.1456 like this value means, or any decimal value means, the data type is different, is it? Yes. So what do you understand? As per our requirement, we are selecting the data type. We can select appropriate data type, and each data type has a particular size and particular range. The storage size is indicating storage size, how many values it can store, till how many bits it can store, like that. Okay, storage sizes and the range of values are different for different data type. So first we have to learn about the data type, its size and the range. Range is not compulsory, but size is compulsory. You have to learn the size of each data type. So first one, primitive data type is classified into 4 types. The first one is the integer data type. It is again classified into 4, that you know. First one is the byte data type. So in this byte means, what do you mean by byte? You know that byte means how many bits are connected, how many bits formed as a byte? 8 bits. It's a 1 byte equal to 8 bits. Okay, what do you mean by bits? All of you know that bits. 1 byte equal to 8 bits. So bits means, bit is the short form of binary digit. What is bit? Bit means it is binary digits. So what are the binary digits, you know? Binary digits means totally 2 binary digits are there, zeros and ones. So we can tell bits. So bits means binary digits, expansion of bit. This is not fit, it is bit. Okay, don't think it is fit. Yeah, this is bit, B. Okay. Okay, consider this as a bit. Bit means the expansion of bit is binary digit. Bits means binary digits. Binary digits means, or bits means, you know, zeros and ones, 0 and ones. 1 byte equal to 8 bits. So byte is the first data type of integer group. Integer, first one is byte. How many bits are needed for 1 byte? 8 bits. Okay, 8 bits equal to 1 byte. And actually byte means it is indicating byte length integer. Actual name of byte means byte length integer. It has some range of value. It will store minus 128 to 127 range values. Okay. The second one is short. Short means 2 bytes are there. 2 bytes means how many bits? 16 bits. Short integer, and it has some range. You can see minus 2 power 15 to 2 power 15 minus 1. So that much value can be stored in which data type? Short data type. The next one is the int. Int commonly we are using for integer representation. So int is the data type. It has 4 bytes. 4 bytes means 4 into 8 equal to 32. So 32 bits, it's indicating integer. And what is the range of integer value? 2 minus 2 billion to plus 2 billion. Approximately minus 2 billion to plus 2 billion is the range of integer. So that much value can be stored in which data type? Integer data type. So the next one is the long data type. Long means that is the longest one in that integer data type. So that is long data type. 8 bytes. 8 bytes means 64 bits. 8 into 8, is it? Yeah, 8 into 8 equal to 64 bits. Long integer, what is the, you can see the range here, is it? Minus 2 power 63 to 2 power 63 minus 1. So comparing these all, which one has the bigger range? Long has a bigger range, so byte has a shorter range. So according to the purpose, we will use these any one range. Okay, so understood. You should learn this data type along with the size required for the data type. The second one is the floating point data type. It is classified into 2. The first one is the float. Float needs 4 bytes. 4 bytes means how many bits? 32 bits. And this is single precision floating point, that is up to 7 significant decimal digit it can be stored, like 1.500, like this 7 significant decimal digit it will take in the float. The range is 1.4 exponential. You know that exponential is it? Is exponential, that is 10 to the power, like that we will write. Yeah, 1.4 into, sorry, 1.4 10 to the power, that value it has written as E. 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 45, like this value. Okay, so 1 point e power minus 45, 045 to 3.4e plus 038, that is the range of this float data type. What is the range of double? Range is 4.9. It is greater than the float. And how many bytes required for the double? 8 bytes required for the double. So double data type means its size occupied as 8 bytes. These are the size. When we are declaring an integer value, how many bits will occupy in the memory? Example, integer a. We are declaring as integer a. That means in the memory a, in the memory a is the variable and it is a data type of integer. So integer, it indicates how many bytes? 4 bytes, that is 32 bits. So it automatically occupies 32 bits for this integer a. So according to this size of the data type, it will occupy the space in the memory. Okay. So you should learn this all. Byte means 8 bits, short means 2 bytes, integer 4 bytes, long 8 bytes. Then in the floating point data type, float means 4 bytes, double means 8 bytes. And here floating point and double, floating point, float and double float means single precision floating point. That means up to 7 significant digit. Double means double precision floating point up to 15 significant decimal points. That is 1.500, like this, till 15 number decimal digits can taken in which data type? Double data type. Okay. Next is the character data type. So character data type is represented by the keyword. Which keyword? Char, C-H-A-R. So character data type is represented by the keyword char, and the size of size occupied by the character data type is 2 bytes. 2 bytes means 16 bits. So a short description. Character means, you know, character always enclosed within single quotes. Is it? Single quotes A, single quotes 2, like this. These are the characters. So character means it is single character and the range is from 0 to 65535. Then the last data type one is known as Boolean data type. Boolean, small letter b, Boolean. It 8 bits, that is 1 byte. It reserved 8 bits. It reserved 1 byte, or it occupied 1 byte but uses only 1 bit. That is the use of Boolean. Boolean means yes or no, true or false, is it? True or false. So that's why it is using only 1 bit, but it reserves, or it blocked 8 bits or 1 byte. It occupied 1 byte and it uses only 1 bit. Okay. Short description about this binary or Boolean value. Binary means 0 or 1. Boolean in the sense true or false. It may return true or false. Okay. So these are the different data types in primitive session, and we have discussed about the size of each data type occupied in the memory, and the range also. You should learn the data type and the size compulsorily. You have to learn it. Okay, next one is variable. A variable is an identifier that denotes a location in computer's memory to store a data value. All of you know the same example, integer a. So a is a variable here, and it is an identifier. Identifier means, under the tokens we have discussed about identifier, it is the fundamental building blocks of the program. Identifier is written by that our variable name, method name, class name, these are written by the programmer. Identifier, a variable is an identifier. So here we are giving a name A, B, C like this. That's why it is an identifier. So variable, what is a variable? Here the example A is the variable, is it? The next example, integer roll. So what is the variable here? Roll is the variable. Roll is the variable. So what do you mean by variable? Variable is an identifier that denotes a location in computer's memory to store a data value. In a simple way, we can tell it is a name of a memory location. We can tell it is a name of a memory location which holds a data value of particular data type. That is known as variable. So the next one is declaration of variable, or how to declare a variable. A variable can be used in a program, Java program, only if it has been declared. When the computer executes a variable declaration, it performs 2 tasks. What are they? One, set aside memory for the variable. Second one, associates variable's name with that memory. So first it will occupy the space in the memory, then it will give that name of the variable and it represents the memory. Is it like this? So it performs 2 tasks. One is set aside memory for the variable. For this variable, that is int a we have declared, means it will occupy some space in the memory. Then second function, second task, associate the variable's name with that memory. Okay. The second case, how we int role, how it will be. First, it will assign some memory, occupy some memory based on the data type. How many? What is the data type here? Integer. Integer means how many bytes will occupy? 4 bytes will occupy. So 4 bytes memory is occupied. First, it occupied the memory space. The second task, it will give that 4 bytes memory as a name one role. So what is a variable? It is a name of the memory location. Actually consider this is a 1096 is the memory location. From 1096, 4 bytes will occupy and it is named as role. Okay. So it has two, when a variable declares, it has two tasks. One is set the memory for the variable. Second one is name that variable with that particular memory. Okay. So the next one is variable declaration syntax. All of you have done that, written some programs also. So it's not compulsory to write that syntax. All of you know well. Anyway, variable declaration how we will do? Just data type and variable name. Like integer A. Data type is integer, variable name is A, then semicolon. So this is the variable declaration syntax. Example, integer marks. Marks are indicated in integer data type here. So how to represent, how to declare int marks semicolon. Or double tax comma salary. Here comma salary means tax and salary are related to, or both are double data type. That's why we are writing in the single statement by separating using the separator comma. This comma is a separator or a punctuator we have discussed in the tokens. So double tax and salary. Tax and salary, two variables having the same data type. That's why we have written in a single statement double tax comma salary semicolon. Okay. So variable, we discussed about variable, declaration of variable. Is it? The next one is initializing variable. What is initializing? Initializing means we are assigning a value to the variable. Example, if you want to just integer A means A is an integer value, we are representing with the data type int A equal to 5. So 5 is the value we are assigning to the variable A. 5 is the value we are assigning to the variable A. This is the way of initializing variables. So initializing variables means it is storing the data in the variable. That is meaning assigning a value to it. That is A equal to 5 means it is storing the value to the variable. That is known as initializing variable. And it may be in three ways. The first one, assign a value to the variable at the time of its declaration. All of you know how the declaration. Declaration part means integer, data type, then variable name. Is it? In the same statement itself, we can assign using the assignment operator equal to semicolon. So this is the first case. Otherwise, in the second case, we can declare a variable and initialize it separately. That means first we have to declare it integer A semicolon. That is in the first line. In the second line, we have to initialize A equal to 5. This is the second way of initializing variable. Okay. Then the third way, assign values to multiple variables in one statement or choose to declare some and initialize the other. Yes, of course, if you want to declare two integer variables, both are integer, then how we can write A equal to 5, comma, by using the separator A equal to 5, B equal to 3, like this we can write S. This is multiple variables of same data type. Initialization means we can do it in the same statement, or you can do like this also. Int x comma y equal to 6 is said. That means if x and z is not initialized, it is only declared here, and y is initialized along with both the declarations. The same also, short data type. This is a short data type. Do you remember this comes under integer data type. Short hours 10 minutes 36 seconds 55, like this. This also another type of another way of initializing variables. Then the last one, initial value doesn't have to be a literal. It can be any expression. Yeah, we can do like this also. Example, if integer A, we are declaring integer A and B itself we are writing here, we can write here A plus 5 or something. So as an expression also we can do it in the single statement. So these are the different ways of initializing variables. So variable, declaration of variable and initializing variable. Initializing variables in the 4 ways we have discussed it. So here we have discussed about the primitive data types and the variables. Okay. So actually the default values of variables we need to learn for the different data types. 8 primitive data types. Default value of variables. That means variables that are declared but not initialized are given a default value by the compiler. In some cases we will just declare, we won't initialize. In that case, compiler itself has to give int a, example int a semicolon. This is a declaration part and we didn't initialize the value. Then in the program, while the program execution, compiler itself has given a default value to that variable a. Okay. So variables that are declared but not initialized are given a default value by the compiler according to the data type. So different data types, according to that 8 data types, what is the default values that we have to learn it. Or we can tell that are the initial values of the variables also. Actually every variable in a program must have a value, is it, before it is used in an expression. If there is no value, that is if there is no initialization, then itself the compiler itself will give the default value. So when it is created itself, it will assign, and it is not initialized means the compiler will create that default value for the variable. So for byte, initial value 0, short 0. So byte is 0, short is also 0, integer 0, long is indicating 0L, float is indicating 0.0F, and double is 0.0D, character is indicating by /U 004 zeros, boolean is the default value of boolean is false, and any other non-primitive data types means its default value is none. Actually these are the different data types and the default value or initial value of the variables. Okay. And one more thing, in the case of float long data type, if it is a long, then we have to represent, usually we will use the suffix. This is suffix, 0 is the value, and we can use a suffix L, 0L, capital L or small l. If it is a float value means we can refer at initialize the float a equal to, just write a equal to 0.5f. Float is indicating with the literal f. When double comes, double a equal to 0.54 double or something like this. Okay, D, small letter or capital letter. So long is indicating by the letter L, long is indicating by the letter L, float is indicating by the letter F, double is indicating by the letter D. Maybe either lowercase or uppercase, it's not a problem. Okay, that's the point we forgot to add in that primitive data type while explaining that session. Okay, so that's why I have given here. So these are the different primitive data types, and along with the default value of the variables. This tabular column you have to learn it thoroughly. So the next one is the constant. Variables we have finished. Next one is a constant. Actually the keyword final makes a variable to constant. Example, if you are writing a variable integer a equal to 5, we are initializing a variable 5. This is a variable, is a variable. This variable we need to convert it into constant means we can use a keyword final. So how to represent final? Data type integer a equal to 5. Then this variable, the above variable, is converted into constant. What do you mean by constant? Constant means it never changes the value till the execution finishes at final. This is final. Okay, keyword final makes a variable as a constant, that is whose value cannot change. Here an example, final is the keyword and double is the data type, interest rate is the variable name, initializing as 0.05. That means in that program, in which program we are initializing this one, and in the entire program this interest rate will be 0.05. It never change. That is the use of final keyword. What are the advantages of final using constants? Constant, if you are using, what are the advantages? Improves the program's readability and makes it easier for someone to understand the code. Yeah, we will write like this. Then any unintentional changes to such variables will be flagged by the compiler. Anyway, we have declared this final double interest rate equal to 0.05 in the program, and we are trying to change this value in any segments. Then what it will give shows, and it will shows a error by the compiler. Okay. Then later, if there is any change in the value of variable, example, when we are finishing the program and we are thinking, oh, we need to change this value, not 0.05, we have to change it as mark it as 0.5, then we can do only in one place. We need to change, we don't want to change that interest rate value in entire program. That is a use of this constant. Later, if there is any change in the value of such variable, example, interest rate change, just need to modify at one place and all the other occurrences will be taken care of automatically. So these are the different three important advantages of constant. So what is a constant? Constant means it never, the value cannot change, or the value never change. That is known as constant. We can change a variable into a constant by the keyword final. Final is the keyword is used to change a variable into constant. What is the use of constant? When we are declaring a variable as a constant, means that where constant can be used throughout the program. That means the value is not changing anywhere. What are the advantages? Means improves the readability, or any unintentional changes is occurring, means compiler will show an error immediately. And if any later, if any changes in the value, constant value, means we can change in the single statement itself, no need to change in the entire program. Okay, these are the advantages of constant. So in this chapter, we have finished the values and data types. In the first part, we discussed about that escape sequence, character set, escape sequence and tokens. And the second part, that means this video, we discussed about that data types, variables and constant. Okay. Next, you have to check the exercise and do that all exercise. If any doubt means, please message me. Okay. Thank you for watching.